Previously on the Flow State podcast.
Yeah.
A lot of us, like, we're not really math people. We love the creative side.
Yeah.
So that right side of your brain is more creative, and the left side is more analytical.
Yeah,
I think we can
exactly,
really
right. Yeah,
talk about
so
that for sure.
all very right brain.
Yeah.
For me, I'm smooth brain, but that's besides the point. I think I want to move forward now into the story of OC, right? And I want to get the ins and outs of running a business and running especially a clothing business in Toronto.
Yeah.
And one of the things I want to talk to you specifically about, Kevin, is I touched on it a little bit in the first episode, but individuality is important. And I think it's one of the things now when you're working in saturated markets, no matter what, like me as a barber, there's a lot of barbers. I'm not saying that I cut hair better or worse than any single. It's a need, but clothes are a need too. We things that we want to do, we are good at, but there's an understanding that we're not the only people doing it. You know what I mean? There's a lot more people that can do that and that do that, right? So individuality is extremely important, and what sets you apart is extremely important. And so I want to kind of move on and talk a bit about OOC and just go through a little bit about that. Like when you determined that this is what you want to do, how did you determine that the name was going to be OC? How did you determine what you wanted to do with that? Why clothes? You know, that's another thing as well. Because obviously you're in industrial design. Why are we designing clothes, over something else? Like, break that down for me a little.
That's a good ass question, bro. I never thought about why I want to do clothing brand. It just happened.
Mm-hmm.
It just happened. That's a very good question. I think at the end of 2023, I just want to do some shit. You know what I mean? I don't want to be a regular student. I want to chase my dreams. I want to do some shit that I can actually delve into and make money out of it. So, yeah, I got no idea how I started doing clothing brand, bro. But it just started with sketching. Lots of sketching. And after that, I realized I started sketching to the point where I don't want to go to suit. I was like, shit, that's the one I want to do in the future. And I just kept it going. And that's how I started OC, bro. Yeah.
I see, okay. And like I was talking to you a little bit about individuality and having that uniqueness, call it.
Absolutely.
In the brand. Obviously, streetwear brands, we see a lot of them around, but there's an importance in maintaining that individuality, right?
Yeah.
And how do you find staying original in a very saturated space? Basically, my question to you is, what is something that draws people towards OC rather than just the clothes?
Putting emotion into the designs.
Okay.
At the end of the day, you're not designing clothes for making money. You're not 100% monetizing the whole situation out of it. You're not juicing any cost.
You're designing experiences.
Yeah, fuck money, fuck economy. But at the end of the day, everybody want to start a clothing brand. For some purpose, definitely for money. But if you want to actually design a piece of clothing with purpose, you have to devote yourself, express yourself, your personality, your standpoint, your even culture identity. You have to really pour that shit out onto the clothing design. You're not gonna think about, how many, what kind of manufacturer have to find to have the cheaper samples. You're not gonna think about how can it cut cost, whatever. And that's the most important point. And about individuality, everybody's different at the end of the day, but just being yourself at the end of the day, it's gonna be authentic. If you're being fake about your identity, or being fake about your design, people are gonna notice, no matter how soon in the future, but it's definitely gonna happen, and you're not gonna be comfortable with that easy. So just be yourself at the end of the day. Either that could be a price for your standpoint, the road, or designing clothing as well for clothing brands, even marketing strategies. Design something that you will look back in the future that you're satisfied, you're not regretting that you did it. And yeah, that's about expressing individuality, bro.
Yeah, I think when you inject that story of yourself, I was watching actually a Trevor Noah podcast with Marquez Brownlee. You know who Marquez Brownlee,
Yeah,
MKBHD,
it's the iPhone guy.
the tech YouTuber.
tech
Yeah,
YouTuber,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
And he had basically said that, you know, in a space that is so incredibly saturated, no matter what you do now, there's somebody out there that's doing it,
100%.
right? Because we have access to social media and we see what everybody's doing in every different way, there's no original ideas anymore necessarily. You know, there's obviously different emotions that can be put into those things, right? So whether you're designing clothes or whether you're giving haircuts or whether you're doing, you know, whatever you're doing, there's a story that only you can tell because you have the emotion behind what you're designing or what you're doing, right? And I think the biggest thing with that is you can only work so hard to sell a product that's the same as everything else. At the end of the day, the people that are going to want to be involved in that are looking for story, and they're looking for you,
Yeah.
right?
If you want to sell a piece of clothing, you're not selling the clothing design. We're selling the clothing piece itself. We're selling the customer a dream, an image of what they're going to become after there's a piece of clothing. And that's what you're going to sell. It's a lifestyle, it's a community. Like what people will think about, what relates the clothing into. And that's the most important part of designing as well. It's all about psychology and mentality at the end of the day. And yeah, bro.
So going off that actually, so you're talking about selling that kind of dream. What would you say OFC, what kind of dream does that portray to other people?
It's a statement. A
Okay.
very big statement. Because officially certifies the term. Short for OC can be applied for everywhere. No matter what you do. You're officially certified barber.
I see.
You know what I mean? You're officially certified dedication to designing the podcast as well. And they are buying the first class ticket tomorrow.
That's good.
Mr. Worldwide is my director.
Yeah. Going to, you know what I mean? Everywhere, bro. So officially certified can be applied for everywhere. Even your parents as well. The dedication of raising you with with, you know what I mean? Hard situations. That can be officially certified. So that can be applied for everywhere. It's, you know, how people buy a Rolex after they make a lot of money. It's a piece of statement that screams they made it. So OC can be applied to that as well.
I see.
So that's the definition of OC, bro.
It's just top tier, whatever you do,
Yeah.
right?
Top tier.
You're valid at whatever you
You're
do.
valid.
Top of the line.
It's a statement.
Yeah.
It's what's this shit called again in English? It's not reconcile. It's like a like recognition, whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Brand recognition.
Yeah.
Mhm. But yeah.
So-
that's yeah.
I want to ask you, with regards to coming and starting, like building OC,
Yeah.
right? What would you say is the difference between studying success of other people or other brands? Because obviously, I'm sure you've done market research,
Yeah.
right? As any entrepreneur will do, they'll have to go and see what other people are doing to see what works and what doesn't. But what is the difference between studying that success versus just like mirroring it and mimicking it, right? You can study the success but still be individual, or you can study the success and try to be somebody else. What's the difference, and how do you get to the first one rather than the second one?
You know, I'm so glad to pull up to the podcast. This motherfucker be asking good questions, top of good questions, you know what I mean?
Top of the line. Officially
of the line.
certified questions.
Officially certified questions. There it
Appreciate
is.
you, bro.
There we go.
You know what I mean? But no, think about imagining yourself going to McDonald's. That's a secret about McDonald's. They got beef patties, burger buns, same ingredients, probably 5 or 6 ingredients, but they can remodule it into different dishes, and different dish serve a purpose as well. And that kind of will help McDonald's make money. So at the end of the day, you're gonna analyze what works, what's not working for marketing, and using that quote unquote ingredients or the techniques that other people use, you can remodule it, reschedule it, not reschedule it, like modify into your own ways. And that can be, as mentioned in the previous question before as well, like individuality. How can you combine other people's techniques that is working in the algorithm and put up a spice on top of it? Your own spice, your own techniques, individuality, your own message as well, and repackage it to serve it to different targeted audiences and to see which one sticks. I would say, if you want to start a business, whatever you want to do, just keep trying. there has to be, but you have to fail at least 3 or 4 times to see which one sticks. But at the end of the day, don't give up. Just keep trying and find some shit you want to do in the future. Like you're doing it for yourself as well, that you can actually tap in and repackage it and redesign it,
Repurpose it.
repurpose it.
Yeah.
And then that's the our 3 R's in the discussion.
3 R's.
Yeah, man. So I think, like moving on to, we're talking about individualism, and why do you think that it's so hard to sustain that individualism as, somebody that's designing, or a designer, or a brand owner, an entrepreneur, whatever the case, in a city or in a place where everybody's chasing one look or one vibe that they're going for, right? Why do you think that individualism is so hard to sustain?
I don't know what's it called in English, but in Chinese it's called 从众心理. That basically means, how do you say it in English? Like if one person in the crowd, they start doing that action, everybody will follow.
Like a leader?
Yeah,
Kind
everybody
of
will follow.
like a mimic,
Like a trendsetter.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
Somewhat.
yeah. Like following, like it's a trend.
Like a
It's trend.
trendsetter.
trend is meant to be followed,
Yeah.
but it's
Yeah.
meant to be altered as well.
Altered. Okay.
So, shit, I forgot what I'm about to say, man.
Now you.
Because there's so much shit I want to say as well. And this podcast is so good, but actually give me a chance to reflect on myself. And, just to talk about the shit on my mind. Trend is meant to be, you know what I mean? Altered. Bro, there's no trend that's going on like for 20 years straight ago. Trend change. You remember back in days 2017, skinny jeans, everybody's wearing it. Off-white oversized t-shirt with some like Virgil Abloh, Vapor Maxes, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
They had the comb over haircut
And
back in the day. Trends are, no matter what.
Simple.
Yeah.
And after that, fashion trends is like a washing machine, in a sense. Just cycling, keep back and forth, the same styles as well. Because if you go back from 2017, go back another 20 years in the 80s or 90s, there's a time period that people with very skinny jeans as well. If you go after 2017, in some way in 2021, 2022, skinny jean kind of came back. Mary's, all the other shit, especially New York. And that's the beauty about fashion, bro, just like rotating. And so, with that being said, trends can be set, it can be followed, and it can be altered. It's all about psychology, and you're gonna do some out of the box shit to catalyze the whole process.
I think what you say when you say altered, it actually makes a lot of sense because, no matter what the trend is, we see it's cyclical. History repeats itself.
Yeah.
History will always repeat itself, but the way that it comes back is always a little bit different every time, right? So for me, obviously, I'm not a clothes guy, but for haircuts, you might have,
Hairstyles.
back in the day in the 80s and 90s, you might, or let's say the 80s. In the 80s, you had maybe longer, flowy hair.
It's a puffy one, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like the 70s was the afro. The 80s, you had
yeah.
you had it going back a little bit, slick back hairstyles.
Yeah.
The perms. 90s, you had maybe the shorter cuts.
100%.
So early two.
fucking oils, whatever.
Yeah.
Spiky
You
hair.
used to spike it, and then 2010s it became the really high fade, the comb over, the big ass hair on top.
Yeah, bro.
Now we're in the 20s again. We have the modern mullet. So what's that? You got the mullet, but you got a little bit of a taper on the side, right? Or you have the afro, but you have a taper on the side,
100%, bro.
right? So those little modern adjustments and twists are things that are always going to happen. Like you're always going to see those shifts and changes,
Yeah.
but it's all cyclical, like you're saying. It's all a cycle, but with those little tweaks, those little adjustments, those little alterations that
Yeah,
you
it can
got.
be applied for every variable. So no matter what you want to do, the same notion or the same concepts, even for cars as well. Car designs, trends come back and forth. So yeah, it can be applied for everywhere. But yeah, question for you, but what's the most popular hairstyle in 2025? That you cause the most?
Right now,
Yeah.
it's a blowout taper.
What's blowout
The blowout taper.
Yeah.
Basically, what he's got.
What I got.
See, he's got like a little.
So
He's got a little taper on the side and on the back, and let the hair go crazy. Straight hair, curly hair.
Yeah.
They wear it in front like a fringe. They blow it. It's a blowout taper, so it's got that shape in the back. You know what I mean? So that's super common. We get a lot of those haircuts right now.
Crazy, bro. Crazy.
Yeah, a lot of them.
You know, for the next podcast, we should probably flip it around. I got to interview
Get somebody to ask me questions.
Yeah, this guy.
the barber questions, how you started as a barber.
Ain't nobody trying to hear about me, man.
No. Everybody will hear about you, bro. Put your story out there. You know? We only know once.
So, pulling back the curtain,
Yeah.
and I want to actually ask you what it takes to build and keep a brand alive,
Mm-hmm.
right? A brand like OC, right? The things that you have gone through, maybe the struggles during filming and during the sessions, the late nights, what type of work, give people an insight into what type of work you're putting in behind the scenes. Because people I go to Officially Certified, I check out the website, if I want to wait for a drop, I want to wait for some content, I want to wait for, one of the People in Toronto series that you do, right? But people oftentimes don't understand the amount of detail and the amount of planning that goes into something like that. Building not just the brand in terms of the clothes, but also the brand in terms of the way that you present yourself requires even more ideation behind the scenes. Something that people don't understand is like, even here, obviously we just started with this podcast, but Kareem and I will sit here until probably 1 a.m. editing videos, and then on Wednesday I have a full doc up. I'm just putting up ideas together.
This guy, bud.
This guy puts in work, man.
I go
Everyone put in work, yo.
Lots of YouTube video with ET shorts coming. You know what I mean,
This guy puts in work, man. He's the brains behind everything. I'm just the semi decent looking face in front of the camera, but
Nah, he good looking.
every time I talk to Ali, bro, he sat on the table, cooking and shit. Every time he's cooking, I don't know what's he cooking. Also, are you doing assignments? And every time I look, just CapCut, bro.
Yeah, bro, straight, man.
He's splicing through it, man. He's got that.
That would be-
So yeah, that's the one thing, I wanted to ask those challenges, or even the challenges currently that you face, those late night, like, what does it take? Break it down for people that want to do something like that. What is the amount of work that it takes?
So if you're a customer, you're browsing the website for 30 seconds. You're actually browsing my life in 30 days, in a sense. It's a long story. You sure you want me to talk about it?
Please,
If I want to talk about it, that'll be 20 minutes.
please, man. We got time. Let's do it.
Nice car, brother.
We got it.
Let's start with the website, bro. Let's say if you want to do a website, I personally use Shopify, and it's the most easy option for beginners because everything is straight up just customizable. You can download a template as well. Yeah. So for the website, let's say you click on it, and there's a menu, like shop now, our story, magazines, where contact us.
Yeah.
And I can do some little bit coding. So actually learn a little bit of coding towards the Shopify website as well.
Nice.
And with the background image as well, you have to do a photo shoot. What kind of background you have to put in the website that's gonna attract the most attention, right? It's all about psychology. What kind of color you're gonna use? So you're gonna use contrast colors, or you're gonna use a theme that you're trying to portray, or black and gray, whatever. And yeah, so a lot of photoshopping. And they after that, if you click shop now, you're gonna be OZ. It's gonna be OZ products that you're gonna sell. And that including photoshopping, color correcting, and photo shoots as well. Usually it's white backgrounds or simple backgrounds. It's very illustrative and not distracting at the same time.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
so sorry to cut you off, brother. So you're talking about a lot about the colors and the hue and the contrast and how, like, the kind of packaging you were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
What kind of packaging and what kind of emotions does your brand OC portray to the average viewer? So let's say Jabir's looking at it for the first time. He opens the website. What kind of emotions and what kind of things would he be expecting or feeling?
I actually want to change that for my next drop. Next drop coming soon, sometimes in this year. But yeah, I would say for the past 4 drops, so going for a minimalistic plus streetwear aesthetics, and a little bit functionality to it as well. And for the next drop, I'm just saying a little bit. It's gonna be more of my personal story and my emotion into it as well. It's not gonna be just one piece of clothing, but one piece of design. That's what I'm trying to come up with. Yeah.
Awesome.
Is there any part of the question I haven't answered? Just a little bit.
Somewhat, but just go a little bit more in detail about, like, what the average customer would look like for OC.
Target audiences, 16 to 25 years old, probably over 30 if I stretch it out a little bit. And they are mostly going to be male. Female, I actually getting a lot of female customers in the latest drops here as a tracksuit. But before that, it's mostly male. And North America and UK, and a little bit Europe. For Canada, mostly the most popular cities, Vancouver, Toronto, Montreal. I'm actually free games, bro. Y'all gonna pay for this podcast for $20, bro. I'm to you. And yeah, New York, Atlanta, Miami, LA, a little bit of Houston, Texas as well.
So you have all of these analytics, understanding with Shopify or whatever.
Yeah,
you
gotta
can
know your
see
customer, bro.
exactly.
You gotta know your
Yeah.
customer.
So that's all market research. And who's doing that? Is that just you?
Yeah, just me,
That's
bro.
just you.
So
Just me, a vodka, and some cigarettes at night, bro.
straight. So I've actually had the pleasure to actually go to your crib, and a lot of the times I'm exposing this guy a little bit, but just whiteboards everywhere, man. Just posting notes,
Sticky notes.
sticky notes.
Yeah, you got
And
sticky notes.
you got a whiteboard in the shower thoughts and all that. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Speak a little bit about that.
Yeah.
Your
If
crib.
you're
Ideation is huge. Yeah. Speak about that.
If y'all come to my crib, I'm a loyal customer for Staples. Like I bought all the whiteboards, I mean. So let's say so here's the door. I walk inside. On the right is the washroom, and there's like this big of whiteboard on top on the washroom door. And if you go to the left, it's the closet, but the closet door is a mirror. So I wrote all this shit on the mirror as well. Self-reflection notes as well. My fridge door have a whiteboard. My laundry door have a whiteboard. My bedroom door have a whiteboard as well. And yeah, just like a to-do list. Just it's good to note down everything you're thinking about, because some of the mind's in your head. If you do anything else, you might forget about it. So
So no matter where you go in your house, you got a place to write something down.
you ever seen a crazy scientist in movies that fucking write shit?
That's you.
That's a little bit less crazy, man. That's a little bit less crazy.
But they only got one blackboard. You got whiteboards
This guy
everywhere.
got shower thoughts, yo.
Yeah, bro.
Honestly, man, I think that's really interesting because you basically give yourself all the tools that you need. Anytime an idea pops up into your head, you can write it down.
Yeah, bro.
How many times do we struggle? Like, man, the shower one, you make fun, but the shower one is smart because God knows what I'm thinking about in the shower. And sometimes I'm like, yo, I wish I could write this down. And I can't. And then by the time I leave, there's a saying, like, apparently it's another site.
Water. If you touch water,
Yeah.
or your thoughts gonna be more. That's the one you don't want to talk about.
Apparently, no. This is a different one. Like, apparently when you come up with an idea or when you think of an idea and you pass through a door, like a door frame, you lose a bit of that idea, or like you might forget it a little bit, which is why we find that like sometimes you'll have an idea, you're running downstairs to go and do something, maybe to go like pick up your phone, right? So maybe you forget your phone upstairs, you are like, yo, shit, I left my phone downstairs. I'm gonna head downstairs. As soon as I walk through the door, I'm like, yeah, what did I come down here to do again?
Sometime,
You know what I mean? And whether it's absent-minded or whatever the case, like that just happens.
Yeah.
And so having an idea, like having the presence of mind to just be like, this is my idea. Write it down right away.
Yeah.
Don't forget it, because any idea can be built on and it can be fleshed out into something that actually becomes something, right? So I think that's really smart.
Yeah.
Even though it might be a bit mad scientist, it's really smart.
Trying.
Yeah, man, 100%.
You ever been to or a church or anything else as well? The murals,
Yeah.
the colored windows with the different patterns. That's my window, but got different color markers as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, besides that, I just want to add two more things. If you have any ideas, writing the whiteboard and Dale's code again, have a notebook beside you when you go to sleep as well, because there's so many ideas might create when you go to sleep in a deep sleep whatever state, and when you wake up, you'll have some of the ideas as well when you're sleeping. So just get a notebook beside your pillow and just write down every idea you might have as well. And another thing is actually scientifically proven that if your body touches water, it will give you more thoughts, creative flows, in a sense.
Wow.
And that can be a little bit of psychology as well. Take hot shower baths or cold shower baths, or just take some shower, more showers.
Let's move on. And we talked about, some of the challenges that you might have faced
Yeah.
with OC, manufacturing, maybe money, marketing. Um, I want to ask you, when did you notice that people started taking you seriously as a brand and as an entrepreneur? Because I know that people that are in a state where they're just starting out sometimes struggle with people not taking them seriously. And that's at any level, right? Maybe when you were just starting at the position you're at now, in 5 years from now, 10 years from now, people are always going to think of you in different ways. You can't control what people think of
100%.
you, right? So how did you, what did it take for them to take you
I
serious?
get what you're saying, bro.
Yeah.
It depends how you're gonna define people.
Mm.
Some of the people they don't fuck with you, it's not gonna be, bro. But most of the people they're gonna see the progress. I would say, document every process that you're gonna be making. Let's say make a behind the scene video of organizing one of the events, where it records sketch even how the ideas came to mind. It's like a creating a journey for our audience to enjoy. Of whatever you want to do, how'd you build the process, where'd you get the idea from, every single detail, pick it up, record it, and put in a cinematic and storytelling way that can gain people's attraction. Just like imagine yourself in a mini documentary series of all the steps you're gonna be making, and yeah, probably play around people's emotion a little bit. Some just like a movies, some cliffhangers, some ups and downs. But yeah, just record your authentic self and be comfortable at the end of the day.
Coming back to that individualism that we were talking
Yeah.
about before, right?
100%.
So we talked about being creative,
Yeah.
and there's a certain point, I think, when you reach, when you're at the level that you want to be, where you can grow from, you realize that creativity is only one half of the battle, and the second half is consistency, right? And actually, Kareem taught me about that, because I find that I had no problem being creative when it came to the ideas, but when your ideas are so large and you have such an idea of what you want to do,
Where to start, bro?
you don't know where to start. But also maintaining that consistency is really important, right? So for me, it was something where I was like, okay, I need somebody to hold me accountable,
Yeah.
which is why I brought him on, because we put together a plan. Every week we get one of these out,
Yeah.
right? If one of us is going out of town, we'll film multiple,
Yeah.
right? So in that way, consistency matters almost more than creativity, because the creativity is one side, but if you're not constantly going and making those improvements, people are going to forget about you. So at what point did you kind of implement that consistency even more so than creativity?
Stop being too comfortable
Okay.
to the point where sell your mattress and buy an air mattress in the bedroom. Whatever. What I'm trying to say is surround yourself in an environment that constantly reminds you how grateful you are, and you have to step out of the comfort zone at the same time. Don't sit on the couch. Have a regular routine that can push you. Very extreme, like waking up 6 o'clock in the morning, go to gym for 2 hours. And it's so about building a habit. It can be outside of the hobby that you want to delve into, and that like your environment. And you know what I'm saying? It can be your schedule. It can be your way of living as well. Keep pushing yourself in different angles, not just the angle of the hobby.
100%, 100%.
Yeah. If a
Yeah.
push, yeah.
Sorry to chime in, but
Yeah.
speaking on consistency as well, I know Jabir mentioned me, with consistency and all that. There's two type of people. So when you're starting something, you can really like over fantasize about certain things, whether it be content, whether it be starting a clothing brand, whether it be barbering, right? You're never gonna get the experience if you don't start, right? You have to, like put your shit out there, whether it be like your brand, your barbering skills and all that.
Even if it's not perfect, but put it out there. Don't be too perfect. You know what I mean?
Yeah, most
Every
definitely.
single idea has some flaws. Just even though, like, let's say hypothetically speaking, you design a piece where you make a video that you're not satisfied, that you think I can do better, still publish it and make another video, and that's gonna be better.
Yeah,
Don't just stop at one of the video and just keep thinking about like regretting the decisions.
That was the same thing for me, I think, when it came to this. And I always wanted it to be perfect. I always was like, I'm not going to post it because it doesn't fit my standard. It doesn't fit my criteria of what I think is going to be perfect. What I've learned is that, especially if you're, number one, you don't chase the views or the subscribers or whatever, but if you put out something, there's no guarantee that it's going to be successful, especially when you start. That comes from consistency. So the content and the quality will always be improving, but if you don't have the right mindset and you don't set yourself off to be consistent, you can have the best quality possible, but if it's not coming out again and again and again, people are going to forget. You'd rather just post. I talked to a barber that I look up to from the States. His name is Dre Clipperhands. One of the biggest things he was telling me was your perfectionism is a flaw for that. You know, like, I am very detail oriented. I want to make sure that everything is pinpoint, accurate, perfect.
Yeah.
But he was basically like, yo, like, more times than not, you are your own worst critic. You're going to notice the things that nobody else will notice.
Absolutely.
And if you're comfortable with putting something out, even though it might not be perfect, you're going to get eyes on it. People are going to look at it. They're going to think well of it. That's what you want. You don't need to be, especially when you're starting out, you don't need to be the best. That will come. But be the most consistent.
Started from the bottom and over here, bro.
That's
You'll
clean.
straight from somewhere,
Straight.
right? And
Yeah.
just want to delve into that topic. If you're being too perfect, there'll be two scenarios. First one is gonna be your energy is gonna be burned out.
Mm-hmm.
You no longer got the passion for it. You just keep thinking about the details that you want to improve, and that kind of push you to stuck at one point. Then you're not will go forward. At the second point, I forgot, so we'll skip.
It's all good, brother.
I think, yeah, well, that moves on to the next thing that I wanted to ask you, which was, you know, we talked about consistency and we talked about the quality, though. You don't want to lose quality, right? So how do you find the difference, or how do you find that middle ground between publishing something, like you said, it might not be a perfect video, it might not be a perfect product, publishing something that might, you know, tick all the boxes versus something that feels right to you, but maybe you're less consistent. There's a balance there because nobody wants to publish a subpar product. If you're not happy with what you're designing, you're not going to publish it. But if you're happy with it, but you think that it can go better, but you're running short on time, you're still going to publish it. So where is that middle ground? Where does that, between being a perfectionist, but also being, understanding that you need to put stuff out there, you need to be consistent? Where is that middle line?
There is no middle ground, bro. If you keep looking for a middle ground, that's another definition of finding a perfection, finding a middle ground. So just, if you want to find a balance, I would say there's no 50%. There's always, it's not gonna be that accurate, so you don't have to think about it 24/7. But just try to find a mental balance around that point where you can be most productive. If you keep thinking about you have to be a balanced, 100% balanced, that's actually another way of the definition of perfectionism. I would say, yeah, just if your mind is going to the wrong direction, just kind of guide it to the right direction, and just it's like a I know what you're talking about, like a wave. It's like going back and forth, you know what I mean? But just, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that, you know, a lot of the factors that we can control are consistency,
Yeah.
quality, and like our output as well, input and output. And I think all other factors should just leave up to God. We're, you know, me and Jabir, we're people of faith, and
100%.
you know, like we can only control so much and leave the rest up to whatever happens. You know what I'm saying? But
Throw it out.
throw it
there.
out, throw it out, keep
Throw it out
it coming.
there.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. If you could teach, you know, one lesson to somebody, an entrepreneur, maybe they're starting a clothing brand, or maybe they're doing something else, what would that one lesson be to that young person that's just starting out? What would you tell them is the one thing that they need to focus on?
I know this sound cliche as fuck. Keep trying. Keep trying, don't give up. Find a mental balance as well, where you have to push yourself out of the comfort zone while chasing your passion, and you actually enjoying the process as well. And just keep trying, because there's so many different people or audience right there. You have to keep trying to figure out which ones stick to the wall and works to that kind of niche or customer. And yeah, it's all about the beauty of
and persistency, and never giving up. And that's the point, though.
Be persistent.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to grow, but you have to make sure that you're setting yourself up with the right tools from the beginning, right? And if that is consistency, if that is obviously focusing on quality, you want to make sure it's all there before you go, but you also just want to go. You like you said, there's no middle ground. You just want to. Starting is the hardest thing. But once you get there, then you find that rhythm.
Yeah.
You ride that wave, like you're saying. And you
also
move on
when
from
you see results as well, like especially with barbering, you know what I mean, you see, your fade in the beginning kind of average looking. Over time you'll see the progress, and that kind of like
They'll
motivates
push you
you,
harder, bro.
pushes you harder.
Yeah.
Especially even with clothing brands as well, like maybe
100%.
your first shot not the greatest, you know what I mean, but then over time you gradually get better and better, and that motivates you more.
100%.
Next time on the Flow State Podcast.
So we're always changing as people, and we're always developing and growing as people.
Yeah.
Between month to month, we change, right?
Yeah.
So between, when you started and now currently, what motivates you now that might be different than when you started?